because he called the authorities, he got his story in first.
It would be frightening for this country to be taken over by people who refuse to reason and don't know that that's what they're doing. They don't know they're refusing to reason.
Never in my life did I think I would like to see a dictator. But if there's going to be one, I want it to be Trump.
I don't think it's about persuasion. I think it's about mobilization.
You shouldn't call me and my officers unless you want an armed response. Because while we get training in mental health, we get training in substance abuse, we get training in family planning, we are also trained in deadly force. If you don't want it, then don't call for it.
Are you Daniel?
Yes, sir.
Daniel Prude?
Please let me get.
So to be clear, white people are not writing a check, though if any white person wants to write me a check, I'll give my Venmo after the talk. But reparations is about a societal debt.
Black Lives Matter Chicago rallied in support of people who looted and are locked up at the police station at 18th and State.
That is reparations. Anything they want to take it, because these businesses have insurance.
And it is paid by the government. It's not about punishing white Americans. Anybody want my Venmo?
That this isolation will make us remember what matters most.
Like, why you don't love us? That's the question we want to ask police. Why you don't love us?
And here you guys tell stories about black unarmed people that have been killed by police officers, and then a week later,
disproportionate numbers.
Absolutely, and then a week later you report that the police officer is back on the force. It's very traumatizing. It's very traumatizing for me.
First and foremost,
He broke into the electrical closet, tried to turn on his own electricity, blows up my computer. 15 years I live with this.
What house? I'm gonna kiss in my bed.
Oh, shoot, the one sitting on the stairs hit my door so hard it was like practically coming off. I had to hold it back.
Stop lying. What you can do? I can do anything I want. Because her dog tried to bite me, so now I'm gonna let her know you got to get rid of that mug. Okay? That's what I want her to know. Your dog got to go. And if your dog don't go, you go.
Hey, what's up?
It would be frightening for this country to be taken over by people who refuse to reason and don't know that that's what they're doing.
And when you have that conversation, that's because of the move that NASCAR took in reference to the Confederate flag and your son's push to try and make that happen. Is that right?
I want to put my foot on his fucking neck like he do us. I want to put my foot on his back like he do us. I want to hang him from a fucking tree like he do us.
Gail?
Oh, Jerika, I'm so touched by Bubba Wallace's dad. You could tell he's a proud father who's concerned about his son.
NASCAR President Steve Phelps says that he will now add cameras to all of the garages, and all members of the association, the Racing Association, will be required to take sensitivity and unconscious bias training.
An unconscious bias.
I ain't beat your ass. That's what. Okay, so purchase that.
want to beat your ass. I want to beat your ass.
It would be frightening for this country to be taken over by people who refuse to reason and don't know that that's what they're doing. They don't know they're refusing to reason. They think that there's certain issues upon which there can be no reasoning. And you literally can't talk to them. They cannot be reasoned with. And put them in positions of power, and next thing you know, the country does start to disappear. That is a very frightening prospect.
If two black people killed a police officer, they would instantly become heroes.
Yeah.
Now, our stance has been measured. We have shown restraint.
I placed a phone call for my brother to get help, not for my brother to get lynched.
Give me your gun, I need it. Give me your gun, I need it. School crazy as hell. Give me your gun, I need it, man. I'm killing everybody in that house, man.
They keep playing in our faces, and they keep ignoring the people's demand. And until that happens, City Hall is closed until that happens.
Stick together, make some money.
If two black people killed a police officer, they would instantly become heroes.
Yeah.
When I watch an interview with a director on CBS News, I think it was in the morning, and the woman says,
if two black people killed a police officer, they would instantly become heroes.
Yeah.
And then I see Gail in a cameo in the same movie.
Cross state lines after killing Officer Reed in Cleveland, Ohio.
And of course the same theme, a movie about killing a cop, specifically a black person killing a cop. And the protagonist isn't a violinist volunteering at an animal shelter playing violin to the cats. And even though the protagonist is innocent, there's still a certain typecasting of tough, cool, thuggy people. And how she highlights how the movie came into being based on an author that 15 years ago, author called a liar. And there was a huge scandal because it was based on real life but not real.
One of y'all smoke.
I saw him like run across the street. He almost got hit by a car too.
Stick together, make some money.
They are searching for survivors. In fact, many people remain unaccounted for across all 3 states.
Are you Daniel?
Yes, sir.
Literally, there were times when I thought Gail would be fired because she would go too far with the way she would flirt with Charlie. I was like, how does she get away with that? It was just so tacky. It was so not Walter Cronkite. It was like turning the news into Oprah. And nobody hates Gail, but it was like, what are you doing here? So it was so ironic when
a sense of
there
each
is
other.
Something sensual, Charlie, about just touching
It is.
fingers.
Come on, Charlie.
I'm such a Charlie Rose
Me
fan.
too.
Love the guy.
Me
Been
too.
interviewed by him.
Me too.
How do you reconcile
and this happens, but we will. I know that we will be okay.
Officers first arrived at Jussie Smollett's apartment after the actor claimed he'd been attacked. Smollett still has what appears to be a noose around his neck.
Do you want to take it off or anything? Yeah, I do. I just want to see it.
I also want to say that this is a moment that demands a frank and honest assessment about where we stand and more generally the safety of women.
Something going on between you and Schumacher?
Not anymore.
and that, you know, we are in a war that we didn't start.
Right.
You do not want to have to deal with this shit, man. Please, I'm telling you, change our lives out there. We can stick together, make some money.
And I feel like black people, when they walk out their door, they go to war every day.
Yeah.
And they have to decide, what black person do I want to show up as this morning? Do I want to be MLK?
We will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual, free at last, thank God Almighty, we are free at last.
She's crazy. Yeah, well, yeah, she needs to be in another house. Yeah, I know. And I told her to her face she's crazy. But I know, I told her, I said, I don't even speak to the troll. Nobody does. No, I don't speak to her. Yeah, nobody does it. Punch her on her face, though.
Imagine the mayor of a city or town saying to you, I hope you have trouble sleeping.
They'd rather be like, hey, what's up? Like, to whoever you want to have the conversation with, you're going to call 911, an emergency line.
I will whip your... That's why I said, for sure that's why I will whip you. It's on YouTube. It's on YouTube.
Like, why you don't love us? Why you don't love us? That's the question we want to ask. Like, why you don't love us? Like, why you don't love us? That's the question we want to ask police. Why you don't love us?
Exactly right.
She has called this a protest film.
Yeah.
Is that something you would use as well?
I mean, I think of it as protest art.
I got to ask you about what's going on your show. Two things. First of all, there were all these rumors that CBS was after Oprah to be on the show.
Andy, you know that's not true.
Right.
Rita, you're very good at the lap dances.
We need to see those images. I'm sick of just seeing black people walking around looting. White people are looting too. We need to see those images. I'm sick of just seeing black people walking around looting. White people are looting too.
I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today.
I don't want us to miss this message. If you are going to focus on the looting, which, by the way, white people are looting too, we need to see those images. I'm sick of just seeing black people walking around looting. White people are looting too.
If 2 black people killed a police officer, they would instantly become heroes.
Yeah.
Your language is, to some, is just as egregious as what they're saying by calling the president's people henchmen. Some could say that's just as insulting as what he's saying about you. And we had to watch the news, and I thought the news was so damn boring. I want to get the backstory of how this came about, because you were having a conversation with James Fry, best-selling author.
What isn't. So first of all, I wanted to start with the smoking gun report, titled The Man Who Conned Oprah.
I've struggled with the idea of it, and
No, the lie of it. That's a lie. Not an idea, James, that's a lie.
It is also not fiction, but a bold choice.
Cross state lines after killing Officer Reed in Cleveland, Ohio.
James Fry, best-selling author.
It's a gut-wrenching memoir that is raw and it's so real. Our next book is
A million little pieces.
You barely catch that she's even mentioning his name. It all plays into the theme here, which is fiction, masquerading as news, and the line keeps getting blurrier.
Black people think
They would become heroes, you said.
I thought so. That just instantly sort of, that's what I thought.
And we had to watch the news, and I thought the news was so damn boring.
That's the year's deadliest fire that has claimed the lives of at least 9 people so far. 19 others remain missing. More than 4,000 structures have also been destroyed by California wildfires, which have been burning an area of land larger than the state of Connecticut.
And I just think, the picture's so pretty. I'm thinking, who is that girl?
I didn't take the picture.
Who is she?
And you call her an unshakable figure in this business. Why so?
Well, you know, the list, it's not a Lifetime Achievement Award. It's about people who shaped the year, changed the year, stood up, stood out. In Gail's case,
It's so unexpected to me. You just have no idea what this means to me. And I was thinking of my dad, who so loved news and loved us watching the news, and we had to watch the news, and we had to watch the news, and we had to watch the news.
Now my white friends are finally seeing it for themselves on video. White, black, white, black, white, black, white, black.
Does anyone else ever notice that each network has their own, like, specified reporter who covers? I mean, this guy is all the way from Michael Brown to Freddie Gray to Ahmaud Arbery.
All comfortable being together in groups.
Including asking questions of those we cover, and that's exactly what we were doing. Fager, Rose, and former CEO Leslie Moonves have now all been forced out of CBS after allegations of misconduct.
It's not your show anymore, Max. It's mine.
Big trees are falling at CBS, but I really do believe that the company wants to and will get this right. I can only imagine what this has done to you, how this has affected you. And I certainly applaud you, Drika, for speaking up.
Did you view it as a threat? Did you view it as a threat?
On the flip side, there have been countless times that I've wanted to talk to some of these men. Yeah, so, yeah, so it's a very complicated and complex issue.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's one of those things that I've realized that, yeah, so.
The Mao Zedong Hour went on the air March 14th. It received a 47 share. The network promptly committed to 15 shows with an option for 10 more. There were the usual contractual difficulties.
Equal to 20% 2-0, except with such percentages, I'll be 30% 3-0 for 90-minute or longer television programs.
Have we settled that sub-licensing thing?
No.
We want a clear definition here. Gross proceeds should consist of all funds the sub-licensee receives, not merely the net amount remitted after payment to the sub-licensee or distributor.
We're not sitting still for overhead charges. It's a cost prior to distribution.
Don't fuck with my distribution costs. I'm making a lousy $2.15 per segment. I'm already deficiting $25,000 a week with Metro. I'm paying William Morris 10% off the top. And I'm giving this turkey $10,000 per segment, another 5 for this fruitcake. And Helen, don't start no shit with me about a piece again. I'm paying Metro 20% for all foreign and Canadian distribution, and that's after recoupment. The Communist Party's not gonna see a nickel out of this goddamn show until we go into syndication.
Oh, come on, Lorraine. The party's in for $7,500 a week production expense.
I'm not giving this pseudo-insurrectionary sectarian a piece of my show. I'm not giving him script approval, and I sure as shit ain't cutting him into my distribution charges. You fucking fascist! Did you see the film we made of the San Marino jailbreak out demonstrating the rising up of the Seminole prisoner class infrastructure? You can blow the Seminole prisoner class infrastructure out your ass! I'm not knocking down my goddamn distribution charges!
Man, give her the fucking overhead clause.
Let's get back to page 22. 5, small a, subsidiary rights.
Where are we now? Page 22, middle of the page, subsidiary rights. As used herein, subsidiary rights means, without limitation, any and all rights.
What do you say when someone that you deeply care about has done something that is so horrible?
You make me feel so good inside. Good inside. This I know is true. Women cannot achieve equality in the workplace or in society until there is a reckoning. And I just want to be so close to you. You make me feel so alive.
Oh.
The news is back in the morning. Let me be very clear. There is no excuse for this alleged behavior. Colito! But it is systematic and pervasive.
Yes.
I'm gonna come. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Charlie Rojo.
Standing up for the same transparency here at CBS that we all stand up for in our jobs as journalists.
Birthday, Charlie Rojo.
Rita, you're very good at the lap dances. We will see you tomorrow.
Take care.
Charlie's
Thank you.
birthday.
I gotta ask you this because I'm such a Charlie Rose
Me
fan.
too.
Love the guy.
Me
been
too.
interviewed by him.
Me too.
How do you reconcile
and this happens, but I know that we will be okay.
The way Nora makes that snorty laugh that's meant to be filler, really. I mean, a lot of people act this way at parties when you're supposed to look festive. I mean, just leave your mouth wide open. For years, I cringed. I would literally cringe when Gail would make some double entendre, like a sexual entendre, and make Charlie blush. And Charlie and Nora both always seemed like they felt obliged to make Gail not feel embarrassed for this weird thing she just said.
Investigation into an alleged incident after a former employee claimed the 56-year-old executive touched her inappropriately during a holiday party 4 years ago.
I'm going to name the names. Andrea Kelly, your ex-wife.
There was already a campaign called Mute R. Kelly where people have decided that they're not going to support the music, but now you have artists like Lady Gaga that are coming out and saying, I regret doing this song with him and I will never perform with him or work with him again. Recently, we're still trying to confirm this, but his record label dropped him.
Their mothers and fathers told me, we're going to destroy your career.
They can't keep the viewers waiting much longer. The show must go on. Let's find somebody. Anybody will do to provide them with that climax.
This is not me.
Robert, I don't want you just ranting at the camera.
I came here for them to hear me talk.
But
the myths around black people being lynched, which were that black people were, sexual predators.
Okay? They really are on chains. They really do have chains on their wrists and they can't get out.
And violent was actually that black people were often accused of rape after consensual sex with a white woman.
We need to see those images. I'm sick of just seeing black people walking around looting. White people are looting too, but that's not the point. The bigger story is the peaceful protest that is happening.
Protesters intercepted that fire apparatus several blocks away with vehicles and blocked that fire department's access to the structure fire.
And I thought the news was so damn boring, and now here I am doing the news.
I don't care if somebody decides to loot a Gucci or a Macy's or a Nike, because that makes sure that that person eats.
Inside that home was a child. Officers were able to
And I thought the news was so damn boring, and now here I am doing the news.
Cross state lines after killing Officer Reed in Cleveland, Ohio.
And I thought the news was so damn boring, and now here I am doing the news.
There's also a face in the clouds for when we're daydreaming. And a face, this is my favorite one, with those swirly eyes that go boing, because we're all feeling like, what the heck is happening to us during quarantine? At one point, most of the new emojis are dedicated to different skin tones.
In Gail's case, continue to sit down that image of Gail's unshakable as R. Kelly lashed out. I think it's seared in the memories of a lot of people from the last year.
In the docuseries Surviving R. Kelly, Kramer tracked down her daughter to the hotel where she was staying with R. Kelly. Cameras followed their hasty getaway.
We ran out of there like the master was coming for us.
That moment came up during Gayle King's interview with him.
And as a result, it's caused yeah.
Their mothers and fathers told me, we're gonna destroy your career. This is not me, y'all.
Robert. On the R. Kelly interview. Jerika, good morning.
Good morning. All three women said that moment when R. Kelly stood up, it brought back horrifying memories. Last night I spoke to Michelle Kramer, who says she believes her daughter, she believes.
You saying this, Gail, you breaking my heart. You saying this like you believe it.
Kramer says there's a good reason to believe it.
Because it's true.
You can start a rumor on a guy like me, just like that. All you have to do is push a button on your phone and say, so-and-so did this to me. R. Kelly did this to me. And if you get any traction from that,
that is raw and it's so real.
And if you're able to write a book from that.
Our next book is A Million Little Pieces. So do you think you lied or you think I made a mistake?
If you're able to get a reality show.
We've just launched 59 missiles heading to Iraq.
Well, you headed to Syria?
Yes, heading toward Syria. And I want you to know that.
That defies logic to me.
Right. Then any girl that I had a relationship in the past that it just didn't work out, she can come and say the same exact thing.
And we had to watch the news. And we had to watch the news, and I thought the news was so damn boring. And now here I am doing the news and being honored this way by your peers. I can't even tell you. I can't even. And now here I am doing the news and being honored this way by your peers. And I just think, the picture's so pretty. I'm thinking, who is that girl?
I didn't take the picture.
Who is she?
One of y'all smoke.
I saw him like run across the. He almost got hit by a car too.
I'm killing everybody in that house, man.
CBS's Jerika Duncan reports from Rochester.
Today, the Rochester Police Union president told me the officers were following their training.
Do you think there should be more help for police officers when you talk about dealing with mental health issues?
I'll say this, I absolutely believe that we need more help. What we have to understand is, and I don't have all the answers. I don't think anybody does.
Prude's family believes he was suffering from a mental health crisis. Hours earlier, he had been hospitalized.
Give me your gun, I need it. Give me your gun, I need it. School crazy as hell. Give me your gun, I need it, man.
How many times can black people be watching Black Death?
As the demand for justice and Daniel Prude's death get louder,
And many of the protesters I spoke to tonight, Chip, say they agree with that sentiment.
Thank you, Jerika.
Ordinarily, that I think would get more coverage than it's getting. It's bubbling up. Yeah,
Now-
I mean that Ahmed Arbery case too.
25, go ahead with that 27.
Yeah, give me a second, man. Well, am I fucking with you? Because this area is known for drug activity.
How was Ahmad when people pushed up on him the wrong way?
Drug? How the fuck I'm drug attack when I work at Blue Beacon? Back up. Check my shit.
I think that's a very important story.
These attempts to just attack his character.
There you
and the fact that you
go.
have to bring up something from 8 years ago.
Back up. The fuck you talking about? You want to back up? Shit. Bitch, you hit me. Send me another unit, please. Send me another unit.
If two black people killed a police officer, they would instantly become heroes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think because of the relationship that black people have had with police officers over the course of time. Like, I don't think of black people thinking
They
of
would
police
become
officers.
heroes, you said.
I thought so. That just instantly sort of, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
I think because of the relationship that black people have had with police officers over the course of time. Like, I don't think of black people thinking. Wiping your germy cell phone on a cop's bare arm in the middle of a pandemic has to be a crime.
Could he have known what he was doing? I mean, did he want to get hit? Imagine if this was staged. Mightn't he have just had breakfast with the reporter shooting the video? I mean, who walks into the middle of cops walking in military formation, touches the cop's bare arm, where his gun is no less, with a dirty cell phone in the middle of a pandemic? The poor cop obviously hesitates, doesn't want to hurt him, but his superior right behind the two in front orders them to push him, move. He says, push him away. Just like they said, he stumbles, he trips, and he falls. Wasn't even that hard. And the first thing he does is bend down to make sure he's okay.
We have an EMT on scene.
And then you can hear how upset the cop is that it happened. He's screaming like, why did you come up to me?
What the fuck you walking up on me? I'm on the ground.
Obviously, it was an accident. Clearly, the cop did not intend for the guy to fall. Certainly didn't intend for him to hit his head. What he was doing there in the first place is so questionable. The cop was following orders. Why are his legs crossed? And why is he still holding his phone? The cop's first reaction is to help him. As he bends down, he's pulled back up. He's picked up, pushed forward, and he probably hears the guy calling EMT on his little Bluetooth, whatever it is. And what's he gonna do anyway? He's not a doctor. He's looking at him. He's obviously concerned. You can see that he's obviously talking to his caller, calling EMT. They're all concerned. They're all looking at him. They're just annoyed, maybe. The other thing the media accuses them of is just walking over his body. But that's not what's happening. A guy with a sign starts yelling. They yell at each other. They take the guy. They arrest him or do whatever they do with him. And then they all go back to the old man, stand around him to make sure he's okay.
Officers were able to help those people out of the house. We were able to get the fire department there safely. Sorry.
We also have Maria Ressa on the list. Maria was also one of our person of the year in 2018, arrested multiple times for her incredibly courageous coverage of the Duterte regime in the Philippines, which has lashed back out at her.
And I was thinking of my dad, who so loved news and loved us watching the news, and we had to watch 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 the news.
We need to see those images. I'm sick of just seeing black people walking around looting. White people are looting too.
And I thought the news was so damn boring. And now here I am doing the news.
During quarantine, at one point, most of the new emojis are dedicated to different skin tones. For the couple with the heart emoji and the kiss emoji, those updates could hit your phone as early as January. They said they're working on skin tones to reflect interracial couples. They haven't done that before, so I think that's a really great idea. You may not know.
How hard does anyone think it would be to find people who are ready for, I hate the word radicalization, but for lack of a better word, I mean, come on.
That is reparations. Anything they want to take it, because these businesses have insurance.
That's not the point. The bigger story is the peaceful protest that is happening.
And 4,000 structures have also been destroyed by California wildfires, which have been burning an area of land larger than the state of Connecticut.
As far as I'm concerned, they could burn this bitch to the ground.
Cannon Hinnant was playing with his two young sisters when police say a neighbor, Darius Sessoms, walked up to the boy and shot him in the head at close range. His siblings witnessing this horrific act.
If two black people killed a police officer, they would instantly become heroes.
Yeah.
Big trees are falling at CBS, but I really do believe that the company wants to and will get this right. I can only imagine.
Do you remember that day?
I know this. A 3-year-old child should never be asked, do you remember the day you got shot? No 3-year-old should ever be asked that question.
This sweat came out.
That's where the bullet exited her body, out of the front, and it entered through her back. Wow.
You remember you got shot?
What do you remember about how that felt and what was happening around you?
Outside.
We need to see those images. I'm sick of just seeing black people.
We're gonna make some big changes that affect all the little Jakes around this nation. So their parents can let their children go outside the door and not have to worry about police officers that might do them in or shoot them in the back.
Cannon Hinnant was playing with his 2 young sisters when police say a neighbor, Darius Sessoms, walked up to the boy and shot him in the head at close range.
I just want to say, man, to all the young cats out there and even the older ones, older than me, it's a lot more life to live out here, man. Your life, and not only just your life, your legs, something that you need to move around and move forward in life, could be taken from you like this, man. And I promise you,
I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today.
make some money, make everything easier for our people out here, man, because there's so much time that has been wasted.
More and more people are starting to cover that.
Drug? How the fuck I'm drug take when I work at Blue Beacon? Back up. Check my shit. Back right? up. The fuck you talking about? You Check want back my up? Motherfucking shit. Bitch, you hit me. Send me with that another shit, unit, bitch, you gonna please. be fucked Send me up. another unit.
25, go ahead with that 27.
Yeah, give me a second, man. Well, am I fucking with you? Because this area is known for drug activity. Drug? How the fuck I'm drug take when I work at Blue Beacon? Back up. Check my shit. Back up. The fuck you talking about? You want back up? Fucking shit. Bitch, you hit me. Send me with that another shit, unit, bitch, you gonna please. be fucked Send me up. another unit. The fuck you talking about? You want back up? Fucking shit. Bitch, you hit me. Send me with that another shit, unit, bitch, you gonna be please. fucked Send me up. another unit.
Ordinarily, that I think would get more coverage than it's getting. It's bubbling up.
And now here I am doing the news and being honored this way by your peers.
An alleged incident involving CEO Bob Bakish after a former employee claimed the 56-year-old executive touched her inappropriately during a holiday party 4 years ago. In a statement, the company board says it takes any allegation of this type seriously and conducted an independent review which did not support the allegation. Bakish became CEO of Viacom in 2016 before it merged with the CBS Corporation. Les Moonves, the former head of CBS, was fired in 2018 over allegations of sexual misconduct.
This is someone who held an enormous amount of power here.
Out someone who is your colleague and your friend.
Scurrying about like a frightened rat.
Who you love and care about.
Well, it's very difficult. God, I don't even. It
makes you emotional.
It does, and I don't want to sit here and boo like a girl.
And I was shocked.
I think once people saw that text, they might have felt differently about it. Big trees are falling at CBS, but I really do believe that the company wants to and will get this right. I can only imagine what this has done to you, how this has affected you, and I certainly applaud you, Drika, for speaking up.
I spoke to someone here that I've been working.
Did you view it as a threat?
What's the answer to the question of when someone should call the cops?
On my way into work today.
So I wonder why there isn't some sort of legal prohibition against a nuisance call, calling the police for something that isn't a crime.
Right.
That's a really good idea.
Although we have to admit, the nature of criminal prosecution is intentional acts, and an awful lot of what we're talking about is ingrained bias. Right. It is prejudice that is breathed in and it just seems to express itself in these ways. But fundamentally, you are talking about a society in which there is an incredibly high level of suspicion and a willingness to subject someone who is other.
That's all you know how to do, you white people.
Yeah, and I do have to ask before we go to break, but Tim, because how much of this is also about gentrification?
Wrong bitch. No fucking asshole.
The reason why I called police, I said she might call police. Yes, I called first.
Because he called the authorities, he got his story in first. That's how you play these things, to try to get in as least trouble, the smallest amount of trouble possible. He knew how to play this because he called the authorities, he got his story in first.